What's your take on these Teal independents now? The phenomenon around the world, in Britain and America in particular, is that the rich are now voting for the left because they can afford the costs of the reckless policies advocated by the left and the Greens. Shouldn't Peter Dutton, for example, forget these seats, leave them, leave those electorates to the politically impotent members they've sent to Canberra and concentrate on the people that Menzies talked about, the salary earners, the shopkeepers, the skilled artisans, the professional men and women, the farmers? Don't worry about these people that Menzies argued inhabited fashionable suburbs. Menzies called them the defensive and comfortable rich. What are your thoughts, Terry?
Well, look, I think you have to keep in mind, Alan, that a lot of those people that Menzies described actually live in those so-called fashionable suburbs, live in electorates like Kooyong and Goldstein and Wentworth. But I think the Liberal Party has to remember it is a broad church of the centre-right. It can't go too far to the right and it can't go too far to the left.
I don't think the farmers and the skilled artisans are living in where Toorak and Vaucluse.
Oh, I think you'll find, well, maybe not farmers, but maybe Pitt Street farmers, but generally speaking, that the middle class the electorate of Higgins, for instance, that got lost to Labor, is not all Toorak.
No,
you've got to keep that in mind. But I think the thing is,
but not all of them voted for Labor. Not all of them voted for Labor.
But you've got to ensure that. Well, she could have been a Teal, except she was with the Labor Party, the successful candidate. But the thing I'm trying to make the point here is that the party has to appeal to a broad church of Middle Australia. If it basically tries too hard to recover those voters who they lost on Saturday night in those electorates without thinking about the other end of the spectrum,
just a quick one before
I think the Liberal Party's got an excess problem.
Just a quick one before we go on Frydenberg. You've said that he's always been openly ambitious, an astonishing personal and political network, but you say his friendship group is wide but not deep, and these friendships are often transactional. It's a bit of a disturbing thing to say about somebody, isn't it, that they are in a friendship because of what they can get out of it. What's the future, do you see, of Josh Frydenberg?
Well, perhaps I was a little too harsh when I wrote that, but I think in politics he has been very good at reaching across, becoming friends with a great many people, and then, as in politics, as in life, you move on. But he's going to find out who his real friends are now, I think, and certainly I think the Liberal Party will feel his loss because he was probably the one candidate, and that includes Peter Dutton. I think he's the only candidate who is capable of appealing to the left and the right of the Liberal Party.
So where does he come back?
The broad electorate. What was that?
Where does he come back? Does he go back to Kooyong?
I think Kooyong and all those Teal electorates are going to be very hard. Once an independent gets in, they can entrench themselves very quickly.
Definitely.
There's talk about whether Alan Tudge would vacate Aston in outer suburban Melbourne for Josh Frydenberg. That's something I think the Liberal Party and Mr Tudge perhaps should consider. But I think the reality is that Josh Frydenberg's influence is going to be outside Parliament for some time. But he is still a valuable force within the party. Yeah. He's a valuable source of ideas and leadership. So this is the time for all good men to come to the aid of the party, as it were, and I think Josh Frydenberg will do no different.
Good on you, Terry. Good to talk to you. Always good to talk to you. Love reading your stuff as well. Keep at it. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Alan.
There he is, Terry
Pleasure.
Barnes.